Hey, what is going on, guys? So, it's currently 6:16 in the morning, and I'm at work. Um, I work here in this facility behind me. It is an Amazon warehouse. And today's video, I'm going to take you through 5 tips on how to save money at college. So, without further ado, we're gonna head inside, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Or a few minutes for you, and probably like 4.5 hours for me. So, I'll see you in a few.
Same thing, bro.
Alright, so just got out of work, and I wanted to share the first tip with you guys. And the first tip I have on saving money as a college student is to basically create an income statement for yourself. It doesn't have to be too complicated, pretty simple overall, and I'll show you guys a quick example that I use for myself. But pretty much all that you should do is have a column of your income, and that can be weekly, bi-weekly, however you get paid, and then have another of your expenses. This will help you to track how much money you have coming in, and then what you want to do with that money, which is another thing that maybe we'll get into at a later date, but you can either invest it, spend it, or save it, depending on what you want to do with it. So I suggest you create yourself a spreadsheet just to track all of the places that your money is going to. This will help you spend your money a little bit more frugally maybe, and also help just show you that some things are not exactly necessary, and you might be spending a lot of money in a place that doesn't really warrant it. So that's my first tip for you. We're gonna head home right now, and gonna eat some breakfast and take a shower. So I'll catch you guys in a few. Alright, so just got home, and now that we're home, something I want to talk to you about is step number 2, or tip number 2, to save money while you're at school. So, in order to save money while you're at school, something big that I suggest doing is to get a job. Pretty plain and simple, but it goes back into tip 1 that I talked about, and tip 1 said that you should make an income statement. And without a job, you can't make an income statement, really. You're only going to have expenses. So, get a job. I suggest on campus, because on campus are going to be much more flexible than working off campus, because off campus jobs don't really have to accommodate you if they don't want to. They have outside people, whereas on campus jobs can, on the other hand, compensate and also be lenient with your hours so that you can fit school and work together. Otherwise, with the off-campus jobs, they sometimes pay more, whereas on-campus jobs tend to pay about minimum wage, unless you go to some nice school that I don't know about that pays above minimum wage. But my college pays minimum wage, and they supply the work-study program, as well as you can get a job without work-study too, which makes it really convenient for pretty much all the students at the college. So that is tip number 2. I'm gonna make some breakfast, eat it, and I will be right back with tip number 3. Alright, breakfast eaten, and now for tip number 3. actually has to do with food. So tip number 3 is to cook more food. Instead of just constantly eating out, it's a lot cheaper to cook your food at home or in your dorm room. Makes it much more cost effective for you, and it'll help with some money savings on the expense side of that income statement that you're gonna make. So you can do pretty much everything that you can eat out. If you want something like Chipotle, you just make burrito bowls. Well, you get a salad, some cheese, some rice, beans. You can get everything, put it all in a big bowl, mix it up, and you've got homemade Chipotle. You want Italian food, you can make chicken parm and some spaghetti. There you go. Much cheaper. Probably you would cost maybe $7 to $10 by eating home, or maybe even less, maybe $5 to $10 by eating home. And by eating out, you can look at $10 to $15. So you can have a $5 to $10 cost savings per meal, which is really beneficial to you. And you'll also have food for a longer period of time, which is a lot nicer when you're looking for food in a pinch, but or in a snap. But yeah, so definitely cook more food in your dorm room, and you should hopefully save some money in the long run. Alright, just finished breakfast a little while ago. Had some eggs and some paleo pancakes, but we're coming back with tip number 4 for you today. Tip number 4 is gonna be about alcohol. Now, of course, alcohol is a touchy topic in college, but odds are you're in school, you're away from home for one of the first times in your life, and I'm not saying that I encourage underage drinking, but you're in school. So, in terms of alcohol, if you are drinking and you're looking to save money, it doesn't make sense to go out and buy expensive beer, expensive liquor, unless you're drinking much more infrequently. Of course, if you don't drink, too often, you can account for a little bit more money. But if you're going out multiple times a week or once a week, even, buy the cheaper beer, buy the cheaper liquor, because over the long run, it will start to add up really quickly, and either way, it still does the same thing. So pick the cheaper options unless you're just not a huge drinker, or if you don't drink at all, this topic or tip doesn't really do anything for you. But I'll be back in a few with tip number 5, and I actually have a special last tip to give you guys, and that one's a super easy one, and I think you guys will just enjoy that one. Alright, here we are with our final tip, tip number 5. Tip number 5 is actually a really simple one, and some people may disagree with me, but in my opinion, I don't see a reason not to. So tip number 5 is going to be to get a credit card, and the reason being is credit cards do a few things for you. Number 1, credit cards help you to build credit, which is really important for the future you, in terms of taking out loans, mortgages, and whatever. I'm sure you've taken out loans for college, if you're paying for it yourself. And then another thing is that a lot of credit cards have incentives. So like my credit card is through Discover, and one of the incentives is that every quarter they do a 5% cash back on a specific item set, whether that it could be like products from Amazon, purchases at a restaurant, or Uber, something like that. So they do 5% back on that, and then they do 1% back on everything else, which is pretty good. So over the long term, you build up a little chunk of change kind of that you can either deposit back into your bank account, or you can use it to pay part of your bill. Another nice thing is that cash back balance ends up in a year's time. They discover matches that balance. So essentially, for your purchases, you're earning free money, and I'm pretty sure everybody likes free money. So I think getting a credit card is an important and easy way to, just build some incentives. There's some other reasons, but for the most part, a college student's monthly expenses aren't really that much. So just a regular credit card works, nothing with annual fees or anything like that. And then the final piece of why credit cards are good, in my opinion, is that it separates your bank account from your credit card, from your purchases. So when you swipe your debit card, you're directly linking that employer or that business to your bank account, or you're directly linking whoever steals your debit card directly to your bank account. Whereas a credit card is a completely separate entity, and if you have a purchase or transaction to dispute on the credit card, much easier and none of your money is lost. Whereas if you have a purchase to dispute on your debit card, you could have money lost and it could take time to get it back, and especially that's important if you do need your money quickly. So I advise that. There's a lot of other different options to save money out there that I think would be great for a lot of people. But another final tip 6 is actually super simple, and there are a lot of things that you can do that don't cost any money. You can go out and walk around the towns if there's a nice town by you, and then there's also probably lots of trails. At least most colleges seem to be in less urban towns. If you live in a city, of course, this doesn't necessarily apply to you, but even cities have separate areas. You can travel an hour outside and be in a very, very nice area, and you can go hiking, camping, and most of the time it's free. So you should take advantage of those things to fill your weekends instead of going to the mall and shopping and doing all that. So you can save some money and really get to appreciate the outdoors too. So that's one of the things that I like to do, and I think you guys should try it too. So that's the 6 tips that I have for you guys today, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up and give me a comment down below, anything that you do in order to save some money, and then also hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.